Hi, my name is Kent Frazier. I decided to start looking at the AFI Top 100 movies. I'm a huge movie buff, and I realize that I like a lot of movies. I enjoy a lot of movies, but my overall movie watching experience is really probably only limited to big blockbusters and maybe a few indie films here and there, but not a lot. So I thought going through and watching the American Film Institute's Top 100 would help me start to understand some of the older films, some of the film history, and maybe I'll learn a thing or two along the way. The first film on my new film adventure is Intolerance from 1916, directed by D.W. Griffith. Um, D.W. Griffith probably isn't known to a lot of people, definitely wasn't known to me. The only other film that he is really famous for is his 1915 movie called Birth of a Nation. Very controversial topics, deals with Civil War history, and along with that, a lot of white supremacist themes. His movie Intolerance, however, is quite a different picture. Um, the movie is actually four different storylines, um, and each storyline is set in a different time period. And really, other than this intolerance theme that he has, uh, there's not really anything to tie the four together, and that's pretty much the biggest weakness of this film is it's still telling these four stories, but nothing. It becomes very muddled in editing, and it becomes very difficult to follow. Um, the director, I feel like, tried to identify each time period with the color that he's using. Um, the film starts out in a blue tone, and then as you move through each time period, it goes to a green and like an orange red, and then like a traditional black and white, you can almost call it a brown color. Um, and but even that becomes very difficult to identify which time period in based by the color, because it's very inconsistent, and especially towards the end of the movie, that's almost like thrown out the window. It doesn't really matter anymore. Um, that that being said, the one of the time periods, it's like the time during Babylon, is very epic and very grand in scale. It probably had a influence on films like Ben-Hur. Just the huge sets and the amount of people, amount of extras. They had like live animals and big war scenes. Just very large in scale. It's Some of the scenes are even throwing fire at people. Like there's no special effects at this point, so it's real fire and they're throwing it at people. It's pretty crazy. Um, One thing that really surprised me was the leads in this film are actually female. I wasn't surprised. I wasn't expecting that for this time period. I thought that during the teens and the 20s, 30s, going forward, most leads are male, and then you'd have female characters kind of interspersed, but not really affecting the story that much. That's not the case here. It's very much female-driven stories, and females are actually pretty strong, and you can't make this movie without their characters. Um, the violence surprised me during some of the scenes. You even see somebody decapitated. Not much blood, but still a lot of people getting stabbed and things happening. So for a movie of this period, it was quite interesting to see. This isn't a film that I would recommend for most people to watch. I think most people would probably be bored by this movie, but for anybody that's a movie buff, film history buff, it's a definite watch, because you see some of the techniques and just the themes and how movies are put together. You really see the influence in later movies. Was a very interesting way to start, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next film.